Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are popping the canopy on one of the most iconic ships in all of video game history, the Arwing. We're going to break down exactly what makes piloting this thing in the Star Fox series such a legendary, unforgettable experience.
And to really get a sense of its impact, you just have to look at the numbers. Star Fox 64 wasn't just a popular game. It was an absolute phenomenon. It sold over 4 million copies. That made it the 9th best-selling game on the entire Nintendo 64. I mean, that's a massive success by any standard.
But, it wasn't just about the sales figures or the incredible 3D graphics for the time. When you picked up that controller, you weren't just playing a game. You were Fox McCloud. The real magic was in how it felt. The game put you right there in the pilot seat, letting you feel the rumble of the jets and the tension of every single dogfight. Okay, so let's get into it. What's the secret sauce here? What are the core design choices that make flying the Arwing so timelessly fun? We're going to break down the tech, the combat, and of course, the maneuvers that make this ship a true classic. So let's start with the ship itself, because the Arwing isn't just a vehicle, it's the star of the whole show. And if you dive into the lore, it was actually designed by Slippy Toad's father, Beltino Toad. And man, he packed some seriously clever technology under the hood. The absolute key to the Arwing's incredible agility is its G-Diffuser system. This is the in-game tech that lets you pull off these physics-defying stunts without, well, turning the pilot into a puddle. And this is just a brilliant piece of game design. It's the in-universe explanation for the fast, fun, arcade-style physics that make the game feel so good to play. And here's a great way to picture it. This bubble of controlled gravity basically cancels out all those crushing G-forces. It's the whole reason Fox McCloud can pull off a tight loop or a somersault that would make a real-world fighter pilot pass out instantly. Of course, a great ship needs some serious firepower. The Arwing comes loaded with a really versatile arsenal, from your standard laser all the way up to those devastating smart bombs. But the real genius here is the power-up system. Grabbing upgrades for twin or hyper lasers gives you this great sense of progression. But if you lose a life, your weapons get downgraded, which adds a real layer of tension to every single mission. So you've got this amazing ship. How does the game actually use it? Well, Star Fox brilliantly splits its gameplay into two totally distinct styles, and each one requires a completely different way of thinking. On one hand, you've got Corridor Mode. This is your classic on-rails shooter experience. It's all about quick reflexes and learning patterns as you fly down a fixed path. But then, the game completely flips the script and throws you into all-range mode. Suddenly, you're in this wide-open arena with total 360-degree freedom, and your real dogfighting skills get put to the test. All right, so we've got the ship, we've got the combat arenas, but to really master the Arwing, you have to master its unique and oh-so-satisfying moveset. And you absolutely cannot talk about the Arwing's moves without starting right here. Do a barrel roll. It's one of the most famous lines in video game history. I mean, it's become this huge internet meme that's totally transcended the game itself. But beyond being a meme, what does it actually do in the game? Because it's so much more than just a cool-looking spin. And here is the secret. The barrel roll is your #1 defensive tool. When you do it, it creates this temporary electromagnetic shield that actually deflects enemy laser fire. It's such a simple, elegant mechanic that turns a flashy move into a critical survival strategy. And it's not your only trick. You've got the boost for a quick burst of speed, the brake to slow down for precise aiming, and the somersault. That backward loop is your absolute best friend for shaking an enemy off your tail. It's when you start combining all of these moves that you really start to feel like an untouchable ace pilot. Now, this perfect formula of ship design, combat, and tight controls, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. The Arwing has been constantly evolving throughout its long and storied history in gaming. The Arwing's journey really starts way back in 1993. The original Star Fox on the SNES was a technical marvel, using this revolutionary Super FX chip, a processor built right into the cartridge to render 3D polygons. That was just unheard of on consoles at the time. Then, in '97, Star Fox 64 comes along and perfects the formula we all know and love. But the innovation didn't stop there. The long-lost Star Fox 2, which finally came out in 2017, and later Star Fox Zero on the Wii U, introduced some pretty radical new ideas. And this right here is one of the most radical of those ideas. The Arwing could actually transform into a ground-based walker. This was first planned for Star Fox 2 and then brought back for Star Fox Zero. And it just proves that Nintendo was never afraid to experiment with its own creations.
So when you put it all together, you realize the Arwing's legacy isn't built on just one thing. It's this perfect fusion. You have clever in-game tech like the G-Diffuser that makes the fun possible, a great mix of on-rails action and open dogfighting, and an iconic moveset where a simple spin becomes your most important tool.
Now, the series has been a little quiet lately, but with rumors swirling about a new game for the next Nintendo console, the legacy of this iconic ship seems ready to continue. And that leaves us with one final thought. What new innovations could possibly be next for one of the greatest starfighters in all of gaming?